I found the house on a Tuesday night. By Thursday, I had signed the lease. That should have been my first red flag. I wasn't looking for anything special, just a room close to Red Pines, university, and roommates who didn't treat me like a stranger. Transferring mid-semester was already enough chaos. Cheap rent, walking distance to campus, and a door that locked? That was all I needed. The ad popped up around midnight. Cozy house near Red Pines, female roommates. Fully furnished. $450 per month. Text Maya. There was a photo attached, an old Victorian with white paint peeling at the edges, a porch overtaken by ivy, and a warm yellow glow in the windows. It looked too perfect. Too movie scene. I texted the number anyway. Maya responded almost instantly. Hey, we've been waiting for you. Want to come see it tonight? We've been waiting for you. Not we're looking for someone. Not when can you visit. We've been waiting. I should have listened to the chill that ran down my back. But I didn't. The house looked exactly like the photo. If anything, it felt even warmer in person, old, creaky, and oddly comforting. Like a place that had already lived through hundreds of stories. Maya opened the door before I could knock. She had wild curly hair, paint-stained fingers, and wore a denim jacket with pins down the collar. Claire, right? She said, smiling like we were already friends. Come in, we've already picked your room. Inside, the house smelled like cinnamon and old books. The living room was softly lit, with mismatched furniture and a flickering lamp that buzzed like it was half asleep. Two girls sat on the couch. That's Liv, Maya said, pointing at a blonde girl sprawled across the cushions, scrolling her phone. Rachel's upstairs. She's kind of a ghost, but nice. You'll meet her eventually. Liv glanced up and smirked. You're cute. You'll fit. That was it. No interview. No tour from a landlord. Just warm smiles and a house that felt like it had always known me. I moved in 2 days later. At first, it felt like a dream. We watched horror movies on rainy nights, ordered pizza at 1 a.m., left passive-aggressive sticky notes on the fridge. Maya painted on the porch with headphones on. Liv made playlists and told stories about her last roommate, who'd been too normal. Rachel never came downstairs, but her presence could be felt. Mugs left on the counter. Footsteps at midnight. It felt like home. Until one night, I posted a group photo of us on Instagram. Maya, Liv, and me in the kitchen, holding up mugs, laughing. People started commenting almost instantly. Why do you look alone? Cute, but where are your roommates? Is this an ad for an empty house? Confused, I checked the photo again. Just me. 3 mugs still on the counter. 4 shadows on the wall, but only one body in frame. Mine. Maya single quotes. Laughter always echoed in the hallway, like a ghost passing through air that wasn't hers. She'd brush her teeth next to me in the mirror, ramble about weird dreams or annoying professors. But in the reflection, it was always just me. At first, I told myself I just wasn't looking at the right angle. Maybe she leaned out of frame. Maybe she moved too fast, but it kept happening. Over and over. I stood in the bathroom one morning, brushing my teeth in silence. I looked up, and my heart stumbled, because Maya was right beside me, humming, her mouth full of minty foam. But the mirror showed only one girl. Me. I turned, and she was gone. The sound of the faucet still dripping. Toothpaste still smeared in the sink, but the room was empty. I called out for her. No answer. Later, Liv and I were curled up on the couch watching some cheesy horror flick. She laughed through the jump scares, texted someone nonstop. I snapped a quick selfie of us, just to remember it. Just to remind myself that it was real. That night I checked my phone. In the photo, there was only me. Same couch, same pose, same lighting. But Liv wasn't there. No shape beside me, no blur of motion, no shadow. Nothing. I stared at the photo for too long, zooming in on the corner where her knee should have been. The cushion was sunken, like someone had sat there. But the space was empty. I asked Liv about it the next day. You weren't in the picture, I said, trying to keep my voice light, casual. She shrugged, grinned. I probably ducked out of frame. No, I saw you. You were right next to me. Another shrug, another smile. But her eyes were distant, like she didn't even remember being there. Or maybe she wasn't supposed to. Rachel was worse. She was silence made into a person. I'd knock gently on her door sometimes, trying not to sound too eager. Rachel, you okay? No response, but I could hear her sometimes. The soft shuffle of movement behind the door, the creak of an old floorboard under a single step. Just one, then nothing. I left a mug of tea outside her door once. Steam curling. Up in slow spirals. The next morning, it was gone. But I never heard the door open. Never saw it move. I started texting Maya more, trying to find some sense of reality, greater than hey, did you eat the last Pop-Tart? Hello. Greater than, where'd you go last night? Greater than, did you hear those noises upstairs? None of the messages delivered. They just hung there, gray, stuck, waiting for a reply that never came. I opened our group chat. The one we made on my first week, House of Bad Bitches. But it was empty. No stickers, no voice notes. None of Liv's chaotic gifs or Maya's midnight rants. Only my words remained, greater than, you guys home? Should we do movie night? Again? Is anyone else hearing that sound in the walls? And finally, am I alone here? The chat said, one member. Just me, asterisk.
If this story touched your fear, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow, I've saved something extra special just for you. Another tale, another truth, and maybe a whisper you were never meant to hear.
I had 3 toothbrushes that semester, one blue, one green, and one pink with a cat sticker on the handle. Liv gave me that one, said it looked like me. But by November, all of them had vanished. At first, I thought it was just the usual chaos of shared bathrooms. Girls misplacing stuff. Someone borrowing something and forgetting to return it. But the third time it happened, I got suspicious. I'd leave my toothbrush in the same spot every night, in the ceramic holder beside the sink, and by morning gone, not fallen, not broken. Just disappeared. I asked Maya. She blinked. You sure you didn't knock it over or something? No, I even checked the drain. She laughed a little. Well, maybe the house eats them. It's old. That was Maya's answer for everything. It's an old house. Old houses settle. Old houses make noise. Old houses don't steal toothbrushes. I started leaving little traps. Not real ones, just mental notes. I lined my makeup in a perfect row. I placed my new yellow toothbrush on a folded towel centered, easy to track. I even took a picture. The next morning, the towel was still there. The picture matched, but the toothbrush was gone again. No sound in the night. No creaking. No slammed doors. Just quiet. I looked in the trash, under the sink, even in the toilet, just to be sure. Nothing. I opened Rachel's door while the others were out. I don't know what I expected. Inside was stillness. No posters, no laundry, no sign of life. Just a perfectly made bed and a shelf with 3 books, each one with the title scratched off. There was a toothbrush sitting on her desk, pink handle, a cat sticker. Mine. I reached for it. The room suddenly felt 10 degrees colder. Not the kind of cold that brushes your skin, the kind that coils around your bones. I took one step back. Then another. The door creaked shut behind me on its own. When I opened it again 5 seconds later, the desk was empty. That night I brushed my teeth with my finger and baking soda. When I went back to my room, the cat toothbrush was sitting on my pillow, clean, dry. Waiting. Asterisk. Liv's birthday was marked on the kitchen calendar, November 17th, circled in pink. A tiny doodle of a balloon next to it. I don't remember writing it, but someone did. It wasn't like we were doing parties all the time. Maya didn't like crowds. Rachel never came downstairs. Liv had friends on campus, but they never visited the house. Still, the calendar was there. So I decided to do something. Just a cake. A few decorations. Something small, something normal. I bought red velvet cupcakes and a candle shaped like the number 2. That's all they had left. I figured Liv would find it funny. I put them on the table before dinner, turned the lights low, lit the candle. Liv. I called. Come down, I have something for you. No answer. I waited. The candle flickered. Come on, I called again. I got red velvet. Still nothing. I texted her. Hey, where are you? I got cake. It's your birthday, right? Message sent, but not delivered. I sat down, staring at the candle. It burned all the way to the frosting. I finally blew it out. The room felt heavier with the lights off, like something unseen was in the corners, watching. I looked at the calendar again. No pink circle. No balloon. Just a faint smudge where it had been. I pulled out my phone, scrolled back to a few days ago when I'd taken a photo of the happy birthday Liv note Maya had written on the fridge. The photo was still there, but the note WS then single quotes to. Just the bare fridge door. No magnets, no paper, no trace. I went to Liv's room. The door was unlocked. The lights were off. No clothes, no music, no clutter. No Liv. Just a bed made with perfect hospital corners and a faint, sour smell in the air, like something had once lived there. And stopped. I checked our group photo again. Just me. 3 cupcakes, 3 candles, 1 girl. Me. Asterisk. It started with the old woman across the street. She watched our house every morning from her porch, wrapped in a gray shawl, motionless except for the slow blinking of her eyes. At first, I thought she was just bored, retired, lonely. But then I waved. She didn't wave back. Her eyes followed only me. One afternoon, I stepped outside to take out the trash. The wind was cold, the sky slate gray. I could feel her watching again, that subtle weight of someone's gaze pressing against the side of my head. I turned. She was standing now, just behind her rusted fence, staring directly at me. You're the only one, she said. I froze. Sorry. She stepped closer, hands gripping the iron bars. You're the only one who ever leaves that house, she said again. I never see the others. I laughed nervously. Oh, they're just private. They keep to themselves. Her mouth tightened. Child, she said slowly. I've lived on this street for 30 years. No one's rented that house since the Garcias moved out. That was 6 years ago. I swallowed hard. That can't be right. I live with 3 girls. She didn't blink. I've only ever seen you, she said. That night I asked Maya, trying to keep my voice light, do you ever talk to the neighbors? She was sitting at the kitchen table, flipping through a magazine. The overhead light buzzed like it was about to die. They don't like us, she said flatly. Why? She looked up slowly. Because they remember. Remember what? She smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. Things they shouldn't. Then she turned the page and didn't say another word. The next morning, I walked to the end of the block. Across the street, the old woman's house was quiet. The windows were dark. The porch was empty. The gray shawl was still there, draped over the porch railing like she'd melted out of it. I knocked on the door. No answer. I called through the screen. Nothing. When I peeked in through the window, the house was covered in plastic sheets and dust. Empty. Abandoned. The scratching started on a Sunday. Soft at first, like a squirrel under the porch, but it didn't stop. It moved. From under my bed to the corners of the room, then beneath the floorboards. Scrape. Pause. Scrape. Like someone dragging fingernails across wood. I told myself it was mice or old pipes, or some logical, harmless thing, until I heard the whisper. It came around 3 a.m. I was half asleep. Phone glowing on the nightstand when I heard it, right below my bed, not in the walls, beneath. Me. A voice, hoarse, wet, calling my name. Claire. I sat up, held my breath. The house was still. The glow from the hallway nightlight stretched long across the floor. Then again, softer. Claire. I got out of bed, heart thudding, and crouched down. Pressed my ear to the wooden floor. Nothing. Until something tapped back. Once. Twice. Then. Scratched again, slow and deliberate, like it knew I was there. I scrambled back. Slammed my door shut. Pushed my dresser in front of it, just in case. The next morning, I asked Maya if she'd heard anything. She didn't look up from her cereal. Probably the pipes. She said, "You said it was an old house," I replied. Maya smiled without smiling. Exactly. That afternoon, I bought a screwdriver from the campus hardware store. That night, I unscrewed the panel under the radiator in my room. A dusty crawl space ran beneath the floor. Cobwebs, dead bugs, a broken flashlight. But in the corner, nestled in the dust, a shoebox. I pulled it out with shaking hands. Inside were crumpled Polaroids. Blurry, faded photos of a girl. Not Maya, not Liv, not Rachel. Me. Dozens of me. Sleeping, studying, brushing my teeth. Photos I never took. Angles I couldn't have reached. Moments I never knew were captured. At the bottom of the box, a note, written in jagged black ink. "You're not the first." Asterisk, I don't remember deciding to do it. One moment I was staring at the shoebox on my bed, hands shaking. The next, I was in the hallway, standing in front of Rachel's door. The air felt wrong, thick, almost humming. Like the house was holding its breath. The doorknob was cold. Too cold. I turned it slowly. Unlocked. The door creaked open. Inside was nothing like I imagined. No bed. No clothes. No smell of perfume or books or dust. Just a single chair in the center of the room, facing a blank wall. And behind it, floor-to-ceiling mirrors. 7 of them. All mismatched, antique, cracked. One was shattered across the middle. My reflection stared back 7 different ways. But none of them looked quite like me. One version of me blinked when I didn't. Another tilted her head slightly, even though I stood still. My chest tightened. I stepped forward, careful, the wooden floor groaning underfoot. That's when I saw the carvings on the wall behind the mirrors. Dozens no, hundreds of names. All scratched in. Some fresh, some fading. Lev, Maya, Rachel, then more. Claire, 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 Claire. Over and over. I backed away, throat tight, heart hammering. The door slammed shut behind me. The mirrors didn't show the door, they showed the room still. Empty. And me, frozen in place. But in the reflection, something else was standing beside me. I turned fast. Nothing. But the mirror still showed it, tall, thin, and shadowed. Its head almost brushing the ceiling. Hands long enough to touch the floor. It leaned toward my reflection. Whispered something. I couldn't hear. My ears filled with static. My nose started bleeding. Then, the lights went out. I don't remember falling. When I woke up, I was on the hallway floor. Rachel's door was closed. My knuckles were scraped. My shirt was damp with sweat. The hallway light buzzed overhead, flickering weakly. From under Rachel's door. A new shadow moved. It didn't walk. It crawled. Asterisk. The bathroom mirror was small, cheap, and slightly warped at the edges. But that morning, it didn't show my face at all. Instead, it showed a girl I had never seen. Her hair was tangled and wet, hanging over her shoulders like seaweed. Her eyes were milky, clouded over. Her mouth was slightly open, as if she was trying to scream without sound. I blinked. So did she. Only, I hadn't blinked yet. I staggered back, nearly knocking over the towel rack. The mirror returned to normal. My reflection staring back, pale and wide-eyed. But I knew what I saw, and the mirror knew I had seen it. From then on, the mirrors changed. Subtle at first. In the kitchen, I'd pass the glass on the oven and see someone behind me who wasn't there when I turned it. In my phone screen, I'd catch a flicker of movement when I went to take a selfie, then find nothing saved in the gallery. My laptop camera turned on by itself twice, once while I was sleeping. I only noticed because the light was glowing at 3:09 a.m. No windows open, no apps running, just the quiet click of the lens adjusting itself in the dark. I covered the mirrors with towels, sheets, jackets. Every night I'd wake to find them uncovered, sometimes still warm to the touch. One night, I turned the bathroom mirror to face the wall. The next morning, it had turned itself back around. And written in the fog, 6 words: "She sees you when you sleep." I snapped a photo with my phone. When I looked at it, the writing wasn't there. Just me, holding the phone. And over my shoulder, a pale hand reaching toward my neck. I stopped sleeping. Every reflective surface became a threat, a door, a trap. I started seeing her even without mirrors. In windows, in puddles, in the sheen of my coffee. Always watching, always smiling, that dead smile. And one night, in the mirror across from my bed, she pointed at something behind me. When I turned, the closet door creaked open. The closet in my room had always been strange, too deep for a room that small. Always cold, always smelling faintly of rain and rotting leaves. When I moved in, I never thought twice. Hung up a few jackets, tossed in a shoebox or two, then closed it and forgot. But after the mirror incident, I couldn't ignore it anymore. It creaked at night. Not loud, but enough to make my skin crawl, like something inside it shifted when the lights went off. I shoved a chair in front of it, then a dresser. I even nailed the door shut. But the next morning, the chair was on the other side of the room, the dresser tilted, and the nails lying neatly on my pillow, like it wanted me to know, "You can't stop me." I told myself I wouldn't open it, not ever, but the knocking started. 3 sharp knocks, always at the same time. 3:33 a.m., and always followed by the sound of breathing low and wet, like someone was inches from the door, inhaling me through the wood. I started sleeping on the couch downstairs, or trying to. Maya didn't question it. Liv was never around. Rachel never left her room. It was just me. And the knocking. Then one night, I woke up standing in front of the closet door. No memory of getting up. My hand was on the knob. The mirror behind me was fogged and scrawled into the glass. Backwards. "Let her out." I ran. Slept in the kitchen with all the lights on. Didn't go to class. Didn't eat. Barely blinked. The house had changed. The air was heavier. The shadows moved, and the closet door stayed closed. But something inside it laughed when I walked by. I went to the campus records office under the pretense of needing a transcript. It was a lie, but I had a plan. I was going to find out who Maya, Liv, and Rachel really were. What majors they had. Where they lived before. Anything. The woman at the front desk was kind, if distracted. She pointed me toward the archives. Dusty cabinets. Faded folders. Not digitized. Good. Harder to fake. I started with Maya Ellis, Red Pines, class of 22-5. Nothing. No enrollment. No ID. No trace. Then Liv Carter. Same result. Rachel Glenn. Not listed. Not even as withdrawn or expelled. They weren't in the system at all, but I was. I almost gave up until I found an unlabeled manila folder tucked in the back of a drawer. No barcode, no stamp. Just a single word handwritten across the front. Claire. My stomach dropped. Inside were photos. Dozens of them. Screenshots of my Instagram. My student ID. Surveillance stills from the dining hall. The library. Even me sleeping in class. Why would the school have this? Then I flipped the last page. It was a printout of my lease. The address of the house. The roommate names Maya. Liv, Rachel, handwritten in margins with a red pen. And under each one, in block letters, non-existent entity, student believes. They are real. Under my name, active observation. deterioration accelerating. At the bottom, recommend containment or removal, subject integrity compromised. I dropped the folder and ran. No one stopped me. No one looked up. But as I left the records office, I saw something that made my blood run cold. On the bulletin board outside the door, a missing student flyer. My photo. My name. My major. Underneath it, last seen 2 weeks ago. Address unknown. After the student files, I stopped speaking out loud. It felt dangerous somehow. Like the house could hear. Like they could hear. Instead, I started writing everything down, in journals, on sticky notes, on the walls of my room when I ran out of paper. And still, the whispers came. They started in the vents. Soft at first, like distant music, playing underwater. Then clearer. Not full words, just syllables, echoes. My name, fragments of conversations I'd never had, memories I didn't recognize. One night I heard Maya talking in the hallway. I pressed my ear to the door. She wasn't alone. Her voice was soft, coaxing. Like she was explaining something to the house. She's breaking, Maya whispered. We have to be patient. What if she remembers? A second voice asked. Then we do what we did last time. Silence, then laughter. But it wasn't hers. It was deep, guttural, and hungry. That night, I dreamed of a spiral staircase leading underground. Stone walls, flickering lights. At the bottom, dozens of girls sitting in a circle, silent and wide-eyed. All of them looked like me. One of them turned slowly and smiled. Her mouth was sewn shut. I woke up screaming and found a new sticky note stuck to my ceiling. You're almost ready. The house felt smaller, like the walls were pressing in. Liv reappeared, but only at night. She'd stand at the end of the hall, eyes too wide, head tilted, as if listening to something no one else could hear. Once, I walked past the bathroom and caught her reflection in the mirror. She was mouthing something, over and over. She's still here, she's still here. Maya left a plate of food by Rachel's door. When she turned away, I watched it vanish. In less than a second. Gone. I asked her if she saw it. Maya just smiled and said, she's always hungry near the end. Asterisk. I found the door beneath the carpet. It was under my bed, hidden beneath a layer of rotting floorboards and dust, covered with a rug I'd never moved before, a square outline, barely visible. When I pulled the rug back, it stared up at me. A trapdoor. No handle. Just a slit wide enough for fingertips. I hesitated. Then I opened it. The smell hit me first, wet earth, metal, and something older. Older than the house, older than memory. A narrow staircase spiraled down into the dark, made of stone, slick with something black and oily. The air was warm. Too warm. And the walls whispered. Not in voices I recognized. In feelings, dread, hunger, grief. The steps pulsed beneath my feet as I descended. It took forever to reach the bottom. Or maybe no time at all. There was no floor, just a circular chamber filled with broken mirrors and bones. Some human, some not. In the center stood Rachel, or something that looked like her, but taller. Too tall, her mouth stitched shut with red thread, her eyes weeping black tears. Behind her, something moved, a shadow that didn't belong to her or the room or anything human. It breathed. The sound shook the chamber. She reached for me, trembling, held out something wrapped in cloth. I took it. Inside was my original lease, the one I signed on the first day, only this time. It wasn't a lease. It was a contract. At the bottom, a line in ancient symbols. Then a translation beneath it. You agreed to stay until forgotten. Rachel, or whatever wore her face, began to unravel, threads coming loose from her mouth, her face cracking like porcelain, her voice leaking out through the gaps like smoke. Get out, she whispered, before it finds a new name. I turned to run, but the spiral behind me was gone. Only a mirror stood in its place, and inside it, not me. A girl with my face, but no light in her eyes. She lifted her hand, pointed behind me. I turned. The dark thing had finally moved. Asterisk, I don't know how I got out of the basement. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I never went down. The trapdoor was gone the next morning. The rug lay flat, undisturbed. My bed neatly made. The floor clean, but something had changed. The mirrors no longer showed reflections, not just twisted versions of me. Nothing. Every surface was now a black void. A hole without depth. A doorway without return. I walked outside. The sky was colorless. The street was silent. No cars. No birds. No wind. Just rows of houses that looked almost familiar, like memories copied one too many times. I knocked on a neighbor's door. The one next to the old woman's place. A man opened it. He looked at me with empty eyes. "I'm sorry," I said. "Do you know who lives in the White House across the street?" His mouth twitched. He looked past me, toward the house. "That house?" he said. Double quotes, "Yes." "No one," he said flatly. "It's been empty since the fire." I blinked. "What fire?" "3 girls," he said. "Art students, I think. Gas leak. Never found the bodies." I felt my knees buckle. What were their names? He looked back at me. "I don't remember," he said. "People forget things." Then he closed the door. I ran back across the street. My house was still standing. Porch light on. Warm yellow glow in the windows. But the front door was gone. Just brick. Solid. Seamless. Like it had never existed. I circled the house. No back entrance. No windows that opened. No way in. But inside, through the glass, I saw them. Maya at the table, painting. Liv on the couch, headphones on. Rachel standing still at the top of the stairs. All of them watching me. Smiling. I screamed, pounded on the glass. "Let me in! Let me in!" But the house didn't hear me, or maybe it did, and just decided I didn't belong anymore. Asterisk, I don't remember sleeping. But I woke up on the floor of my room. The trapdoor was back. Open. Waiting. The walls of the house pulsed, like lungs inhaling something too big. Every step I took echoed. Not just through the house, through me. Downstairs, the furniture was gone. No couch, no table, no lights, only 3 chairs in a circle. Empty, facing each other. A whisper came from the ceiling vents. "It was never about them," it said. "It was always about you." I walked to the mirror in the hallway. This time, it showed something new, not just my face. The thing behind it, a shifting figure of limbs, mouths and mirror glass skin. It opened one of its mouths and spoke. In my voice. "You were the test." Flashes filled my head, flickers of other girls. Other Claires, some screaming, some vanished, some staring blankly from inside mirrors, forever watching the next. I wasn't the first. I wasn't special. I was just the one who got furthest, the one who almost remembered. Then I saw them, Maya, Liv, Rachel, standing side by side at the top of the stairs, their eyes black, their mouths smiling too wide. They spoke in one voice. "You were never supposed to leave." The door slammed behind me. The lights went out, and I felt the house fold. Inward, not collapsing, consuming. I reached for my phone. Opened the camera. Flipped to selfie mode. Just me. Alone. Behind me. The room stretched on forever. No walls. No doors. Only reflection. Only memory. Only them. If you find this, if you're reading what I wrote, don't trust the girls you live with. Don't trust the mirrors. And whatever you do, don't sign the lease.
If this story touched your fear, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special just for you. Another tale, another truth, and maybe a whisper you were never meant to hear.